What's up, everybody? Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Now, today I wanted to make a rather short video talking about the future of the Last of Us franchise. More specifically, The Last of Us Part 3, and whether or not we'll ever get it. So, I wanted to just obviously, discuss any possibilities of that. And then I also wanted to discuss any potential concepts or ideas if there were to be a Last of Us 3. So, let's just get straight into this. Now, for the purpose of just keeping it as short and simple as possible, my honest opinion is that I don't think we're going to get a Last of Us 3 in the near future. I say this because Neil Druckmann, the head of Naughty Dog, has directly stated that you shouldn't bet on a Part 3. However, like I just said, if you're even slightly optimistic like I am, he didn't outright say no. And he actually has said in the past that a third could happen if the stars align. Now, in terms of what the stars align actually means, nobody knows for sure. But he's already stated that ending both the first and second games were perfect because they had definitive endings. And he doesn't believe that the story necessarily needs to continue, which he's right because both the first and second game have, good endings, right? So unless he conjures up a script or a story that's worth telling. And as of right now, it doesn't even look like Naughty Dog's working on it because they have their hands full with their new IP, Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet, I believe is what it's called. So they'd have to finish that up before they even start brainstorming for Part 3. So as of right now, it seems really unlikely in general, but I just think that it's one of PlayStation's biggest games in general, and I just think they'd be leaving so much money on the table. And let's be real, what do businesses care about? Money. And people keep requesting it, people want it. I really do believe that we're actually going to get it. However, my best estimate would be around 2031, 2032 or so, because like I said, these games take a long time to make, everything from just writing the script, and we don't have anything on it right now. So I think the most content we're going to get these next couple years for any Last of Us fans is probably just going to be Season 3 of the show. But now I want to discuss some of my favorite possible ideas for The Last of Us Part 3. So I'm going to directly discuss four of my, in my opinion, best ideas for Last of Us Part 3. Now, again, if you guys want to expand or add on these, please do so in the comments. Or if you guys have any ideas yourself, of course, you're free to do that. Now, my first one, this is the one that I think everybody talks about, but again, it's a really good idea. A prequel to both the games. We want to see Joel and Tommy survive before they actually reach Boston. We've all heard the stories about how Joel was so ruthless, and I think it could make a really good game. Now, I don't know how far you want to go back. I don't know if you want to go like the same year as the infection or 10 years before Boston or right before Boston. You could do a lot of different things with this. Maybe you could do all of the above in some way. But this seems like a really good story to me. Now, my second one is continuing Ellie's story. This is probably my least favorite of them because how do you expand on this story, to me personally? I feel like her story ended really well, and then just her overall conclusion with how she felt about Joel. Now, would she settle down in Jackson? Because that's what it's hinted at the end of Part 2. So, if she does, what calls her to action? And then, is there any possibility that she sacrifices herself for a cure with the Fireflies now that we know that they're back, just for a chance at a cure? And then if she did do that, that could be a really good way to just end the series in general. Now for my third one, continuing Abby's story. This one is a little better for the story, for the second game, and it's just more believable in general, because in the end of, The Last of Us Part 2, we see her regroup with the Fireflies on Catalina Island. And this can lead to a lot of different stories, a lot of different possibilities. You want to have it where the Fireflies are just completely settled on Catalina Island and they just want to survive? You could do that as a story. Are they still searching for a cure together? They could totally do that. Are they still out roaming around in other parts of the country, or are they exclusively in California still trying to recruit people? Again, there's a lot of story here for Abby and the Fireflies. And then this is one that I haven't actually seen talk about, but it's one that I thought would be really cool for a game idea. It's one of my favorites, actually. Imagine if you played as a Fedra soldier. What if you saw the story from the perspective of Fedra and the government? Because that's the part we probably see the least in both the games. And I always just thought it would be a good idea for that because they're always painted as the bad guys. But I think it'd be interesting to see the perspective from the military. And I think it'd be really cool if you could have different outcomes or different choices you can make. Like, let's say you're in a quarantine zone that's falling. Let's say you're a Fedra soldier in Pittsburgh, right? The QZ falls. Maybe you have the choice to, leave the QZ zone and then you could play the story out differently there. Or maybe you just become a traitor to Fedra and then you just join the Hunters in Pittsburgh. Or maybe you just die a Fedra soldier in Pittsburgh. I actually think that there's a lot of different ways to tell this story, and it's just something that's never talked about. But if you're going to change the storyline from Joel, Ellie, Abby, all these characters that we already have, I think making just a game that is about general survivors, and in particular a Fedra soldier, would be a really cool idea. But that's just my ideas, and maybe I'm just coping, hyping myself up with all these ideas because maybe there is no possibility for a part 3. But like I said before, I really do think there is. My best guess would be around 2031, 2032 or so, the earliest. I honestly don't think it's a high priority right now. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys agree with any of these ideas or what I think about even the possibility of the part 3 coming out. And I'll catch you guys soon. Thank you all for watching. Peace.